Pakistan. Official weight 154 pounds for the reigning and defending world champion, Israil, the Dream, Madrimov.
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing? How you guys making out? We got a lot to talk about. Let's wait until after the weigh-in, though.
4th Division Championship. He is Terrence Bud Crawford.
He looks arguably in the best shape of his career.
153.4.
Yo, am I saying too much if I say that I think that Crawford could have beat Floyd?
4th Division World Championship. The defending champion is the
I don't know.
Madrimov. It's all for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship of the world.
I think he could beat Money May. I think he could have beaten Money May, but Pretty Boy, I don't know. I don't know. So, let me tell you what's going to happen. Let's mute this and talk for a little bit. All right. How have you guys been? So what we're going to accomplish in this video is we're going to talk about what's going on. We're going to talk about this whole card. We're going to recap the weigh-ins and give my preview on each of the fights and who I think is going to win, pros and cons of each fighter. We're going to really break it down. Boxing. Then I got to give my thoughts on that shitty debacle of a fight that's going to flop all over the place. Canelo versus Berlanga. I want to talk about Devin Haney taking, who do you think, real quick, who do you think took Loma's soul? Was it Salido? Was it Teofimo? Or was it Haney? I think Haney took it. Remember, Loma had a whole mental collapse at the closing of the pay-per-view broadcast, crying. Like that was, you know, and they was all zooming in. It was poetic. I think Haney took his soul. And I think, let's listen to Madrimov. And I think that he was trying to get it back with Kambosos. Even though he beat the shit out of Kambosos, the fire still didn't come back. And I remember saying in my post-fight video, I was like, yo, I think Loma ain't here no more. He just don't got it. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing live streams on my other channel. You know what? Let's talk about the weigh-in first.
We're 24 hours away from the biggest fight of your life. How do you feel?
What's up, Billy? Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming. Inshallah, Saturday night will be a great fight. Don't miss.
I thought it was interesting. Yesterday we spoke to you and asked you what your game plan was, and you basically said you're going to figure it out in the ring depending on what Terrence does. Why is that how you're approaching this fight?
Yeah. I have the game plan because inside the ring we are making I do, inshallah. And я хочу, чтобы показать всем, что я умею, и доказать, что я лучше на этом весе.
My goal is to showcase my skills inside that ring and show that I'm the best in this division.
All right, I'll give you the final word here. What's your prediction for tomorrow night? What are we going to see? And what's your message to your fans around the world?
It's going to be a great fight. Muxlislar, qo'llab-quvvatlaylar, inshaalloh tarix ochamiz.
God bless. It's going to be a great fight, and we're going to get that victory.
All right, let's give it up for the super welterweight champion of the world, Israil, the Dream, Madrimov.
So, the WBO interim is on the line. Remember, Fedor. Oh, hold on.
Ring for the first time in a year. What's the feeling like?
Man, I can't wait. I'm focused. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm ready to go out here, put on another great performance in front of all my fans and supporters, and in the whole world to show him that I'm the best fighter in the world.
You talked about how tough it was for you to get down to 147. How do those extra 7 pounds feel on you?
Man, it felt great, but it still wasn't easy. But we ready.
You're the best in the world at 135, at 140, at 147. Do you believe you can be the best in the world at 54?
I'm already the best in the world at 54 when I stepped in the division.
You got a guy in front of you on Saturday that checks a lot of boxes, decorated amateur, in his prime, world champion, says this is his weight class. What kind of a fight are you expecting?
Listen, how many gold medalists, silver medalists, Olympians that I didn't beat? A lot of them got a decorated amateur pedigree and background, and they all left the same way. And I'm looking forward to him leaving the same way again this Saturday.
Good luck, bud.
Talk that sass. Talk that sass. So welcome. So let me tell you what we're going to do. I guess we need some structure here, right? We're going to preview the whole card. I guess we're going to start with the fights that I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be here full time tomorrow night, covering each major fight on the card, as well as post-fight content. And we're going to keep it consistent. Things have been going really well for me. So it's no secret that the last few years I've been, taking some time to myself. I think I found myself. I feel really good. Life is going good. I've been engaging in gluttonous behavior. Eating fine foods. Things have been going good. Going good. So I want to start off by saying, here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about and preview this card. Madrimov is no joke. He is untested at this level, but he's got the pedigree, and he is a different type of fighter with a different type of skill. That is this. I thought this was. Don't this look like a Hispanic setback? I thought this dude was a Hispanic setback. Anyway. Madrimov is no joke. However, he's untested at this level. You see what I'm saying? But I do think he has enough to win. Now, as far as Big Baby Miller is concerned, and Andy Ruiz has got an engine on him. Big Baby Miller has shown to slow down, even though he's what? How much weight did he lose? He came in at 305. His last weight was 333. So he looks in better shape, but if you look at Andy Ruiz, well, you never know how he's going to show up. But one thing about Andy Ruiz is, if you notice, he can be fat as shit, and then he still never gas out. Did you notice that? Andy Ruiz do not slow down. Hand speed, no nothing. Now, he is open to get caught. I'm just wondering, I guess let's start with the weigh-ins. How about that? Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to talk about this card. I'm going to tell you the plans for the future. I'm going to give you my thoughts on Tank Davis versus Loma, Canelo versus Berlanga, and how the Saudis, Turkey, Al-Sheikh is taking over boxing. They so far got Top Rank in their pocket, Frank Warren in their pocket, Matchroom in their pocket, the WBC in their pocket, the WBA in their pocket, and some of PBC fighters. So let's see, let's pull up the weigh-in here. In the meantime, once again, I will be here tomorrow covering this card. And wait, where are we at? There we go. So let's look at the card first, I guess, while I'm pulling this other stuff up on the screen. It's going to be $80. And listen to this. Listen to this. Are y'all ready? This fight is available none other than, I'm going to show you. Where are you at? Dun, dun, dun. Where you at? Is it here? Is it here? Where is it at? Hold on. Give me a minute. I'm looking for it. There it is. This fight is available on Amazon Prime. So, can anybody just have fights on Amazon Prime? Look. So anybody can just have fights on Amazon Prime. You know, like what makes the PBC like so much of a big deal? And if you notice, the Saudis got their hands in WWE, UFC, Riyadh season, baby. They on Amazon Prime. This fight is being broadcast through Top Rank ESPN, Amazon Prime, The Zone, and your pay-per-view provider, and Dish if you have it. It's everywhere. They got their hands in everything. You're not paying attention to this? It's happening right in front of your faces. They're taking over boxing. Like it's happening. It's happening right in front of our faces. But anyway, let's oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure they like own The Zone if they don't have like major money in there. But anyway, so here's the card for tomorrow. See, here's the thing. Let's talk about it. In this day and age, pay-per-view is high, man. Like when I be seeing them shits, like sometimes 2 at one point in time on your cable bill, then what if you want to watch, like, what if you want to be a combat sports fan? What if you say, you know what, I want to watch the UFC every pay-per-view. I want to watch the bare knuckle fighting championship. I want to watch these influencer pay-per-views with Jake Paul, see if he gets knocked out. I want to watch the PBC pay-per-view. Fendora's going to be on pay-per-view. Charlo's, they're going to be on pay-per-view. Everybody's on pay-per-view. Terrence Crawford pay-per-view. $80. $80. And this give people like the receipt. Here's the thing. It's the taboo subject to talk about, but we can talk about it. We're all adults here, degenerates or not. But them streams are easy to come by. Pay-per-view is dead. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're squeezing every little drop out of it, but I'm telling you, it's getting. Listen, look what's happening with this AI. They're gonna have to figure out something. Because unless you're putting on super mega fights, you ain't gonna be making the money back. These streams are in high definition. High definition. So here is the card. Is it worth $80? To me, yes, it's an $80 card. Especially given the fact that remember this. Let me tell you how dirty they did us. Okay, this is when I knew PBC was up shit's creek. What was it? Was it January of 2022? New Year's Day? Or was it 2021? I believe it was 2022. I don't remember. But when did... You know what? Let's go look at it right now. I'm going to tell you what they did to us. I'm going to take you back down memory lane. We got to trace the lineage here. Look what they did to us. What do you see here? You see Luis Ortiz, Paul, taking on the Prince Wave Camp, Charles Martin, on pay-per-view, PBC on Fox, on New Year's motherfucking Day. Do you hear me? They made us pay for this on New Year's motherfucking Day. They made us pay for... Oh my gosh. Shout out to Turkey Al Sheikh, man. Turkey Al Sheikh, there you go. You know, because listen, and I remember when I got this press release and I was so upset. And I was drinking heavily at the time. And I was like, these motherfuckers on New Year's Day. Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin. Animals. That was a pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. So, going back to my original point. I'd gladly pay $80 for this. Isaac Cruz versus Jose Rayo. Them together, that would be a pay-per-view on its own over on the PBC side. Andy Ruiz versus Gerald Miller, that would be a pay-per-view on the PBC side. Jared Anderson, Martin Bacoli, attractive fight. Not pay-per-view though. Top Rank on ESPN. But that's here on the card. David Morrell versus Hot Rod. I always call him Hot Rod. Pause. Anyway, I like that fight, but not a pay-per-view fight. But for a pay-per-view card fight, yes. Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Well, Andy Cruz is going to have a problem getting opponents unless they throw major money at the opponents to fighting. But look, that's why he's on the Turkey Out Shake ban camp. So $80, I'm cool with $80. I'm cool with it, and because see, I'm such in tune with the sweet science. I know who Israil Madrimov is. I actually interviewed him like 5 years ago, maybe 2019 or so. Now it is okay. Before we get into real, the nitty gritty of things, yes, he's unproven. 10-0-1 with 7 KOs. Nothing there. He was Jamel Charlo mandatory for the longest. You know, nothing there. But it's a different style than Terrence Crawford has seen before. He's a, you know, how can I say? I tell you what, let's go look at the weigh-ins first. How about that? And then talk about those. So anyway, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. We're going to be here tomorrow night covering the fight. This right here, by the way, David Benavidez is now officially in the 175-pound division. He's going to be the mandatory for the winner of Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. One thing about Artur Beterbiev is if you see how he trains, he has many unorthodox training methods, and the shit's always leading to him getting injured. That's why he's always injured. He be doing some crazy training, man, all day, every day. And the guy said he don't even like boxing. I know, because I also interviewed him when he fought back Volzdik back in 2018? I think it was 2019. I was at that fight. But going back to the 175-pound division, David Benavidez is up there. He's giving up on Canelo, rightfully so. Canelo's on some... Listen, Canelo's great, Hall of Famer, you know, but he's at this point in time in his career where he told us. He said he always fought people that we wanted him to see him fight, and now he ain't going to fight nobody. He going to fight Edgar Berlanga.
74.4. For Roddy Voye, Hot Rod Kalaichi.
I think that's a smack in the face. Ain't he going one-on-one with UFC in the spear?
And now to
fighting Edgar Berlanga, man. But anyway, I like this fight right here. Nice, solid. Let me turn that down. Don't want to get copyrighted.
174.8 for David Madrimov.
We could also see Benavidez versus Morrell next.
Here we go, light heavyweight.
And I will not be surprised if we see David Benavidez end up over on the Riyadh season. I will not be surprised. Here, let me see here. What's going on with my chat? There we go. But, you know, solid fight. Let me see. Is this for anything? Oh, it was for the vacant WBA title. Interesting. How did that turn out? Let me check this real quick. I'm sorry, I've been out the loop, guys. But this is for the vacant title at 175. Where are we at here? Can we do that one? Did we do that? Yeah. So wait. Is this a situation with the WBA creating a bullshit belt again? Wait, let's get this out of here. Let's get that out of here. It says vacant WBA world. The WBA creating another bullshit belt again.
And I believe I fought better people. He's got the amateur experience, but we have a good game plan, and we're going to stick with it.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Let's send it over to Chris Mannix.
All right, David, first fight at 175 pounds. How does that extra weight feel on you?
Man, I feel great. I feel great. It's my division. I come back after the long time, but I feel good. I feel good at 175.
I know you're looking to win in any way, but in your first fight at 175, a knockout would send a pretty strong message. How hard do you think you're going to go for a knockout?
Quería hacer una gran declaración, ¿no? Con un knockout antes del límite, primer encuentro con 175. Sería guay, ¿no?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's my first fight, 175. You know, he's one good, stronger guy. So I don't know what's wrong, but knockout coming, 100%. I'm promising my family is right here, so it's knockout 100% coming.
Good luck, David.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I understand shit he just said. So you've seen him fight before against Artur Beterbiev, and I've seen the Marcus Brown fight as well. That was at the Barclays Center. So he's been around for quite some time. He's only 33 years old. And David Morrell, he's always been a big 168-pounder anyway. But looking at the division here, when is this fight again? I forgot if it's in October or not. Is this next month? When is the Beterbiev fight rescheduled for? When is it rescheduled? Where's the date? I think it's in October, right? Well, anyway, David Benavidez is the mandatory. After beating up Alexander Volstik, we're in a fight where I don't know what type of fight Volstik was fighting. David Morrell is fighting for the WBA world title. I'm guessing that means he'll be the mandatory after David Benavidez. And then you got Joshua Buatsi taking on Willie Hutchinson on that Joshua versus Dubois card, right? So the 175, by the way, Anthony Yarde is moving up to cruiserweight. So if you look at it, this division is kind of top heavy. You see what I'm saying? The only real major names, and by the way, Beterbiev, even though he don't got a lot of miles on him because he's always injured, he's still getting up there in age. You know, you got Beterbiev, Bivol. You know, who would you say is the third best? Let me see here. If I was to rate the 175 pounders, I'm going to say Bivol's good though, and he knows how to not like. I would pick Bivol to beat Artur Beterbiev. So I'm going to say on my list, I got Bivol number 1, Beterbiev number 2, David Benavidez number 3. Number 4, I'm going to give it to Joshua Buatsi. No, number 4, from what I see, I'm going to give it to David Morrell because I think David Morrell can beat Joshua Buatsi. And Joshua Buatsi is the rounds up my top 5. So I got Bivol number 1, Beterbiev number 2, Benavidez number 3, Morrell number 4, Buatsi number 5. And Anthony Yarde has moved up to cruiserweight. And if you look at it, the potential fighters to move up to 175, they ain't really there. You know, Berlanga, William Skoll, I still don't know too much about him. This is who I think that Crawford should fight, by the way. You know, try to fight him and, you know, as an entry to the division, get that belt if he can and make the Canelo fight much more interesting if it was to happen. So that's my top 5. By the way, you got this guy right here, Mr. PlayStation 5 head case. He's got some things going on. Jared Anderson. And it looks like if Big Baby Miller wins or loses, we could see that fight against him. But I won't be surprised if Martin Bakole beat him. You know, he was dialed back a little bit by Top Rank after his performance against Charles Martin. But Charles Martin was a former world champion.
284.4 for Martin Bakole.
Damn, I think that's the biggest Bakole's ever been. I think that's let me see here, pull these guys up. Let's see here. Turn this down some.
252.4
252.
for the undefeated.
So Bakole's got a 30-pound weight advantage? Sheesh.
89 pounds, this one 284. Jared Anderson around the same as his last fight. Sean 251. This is a good one. This is a good heavyweight duster.
So
it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be.
So Bakoli's 284, down from 299 in his last fight, and Gerald Anderson is 252. I won't be surprised if Bakoli beats him, to be very honest.
I mean, I know that he's a big monster, but I mean, sizing him up next
Let's
door
go look
like
at their
that,
resumes real quick. Listen to the post-fight interview when they get to the mic. 17-0 with 15 KOs, 24 years old. Well, let's listen.
Your opponent has been described as the next great American heavyweight. How good do you think Jared Anderson is?
We'll find it out tomorrow. And the talking is over. Everything is over now. Focus on the fight tomorrow.
To all the American fans here that may not be familiar with you, how would you describe your boxing style?
I'm unique. So I think people will find it out tomorrow.
You've got a very big fan base here. What's your message to those watching around the world, and give us your prediction?
I love them, and I came here to win the fight. The knockout point, Martin Bakoli is the winner tomorrow.
All right, who thinks Smart Bakoli is going to win this Saturday night? He'll be taking on Jared Anderson. Over to Chris Mannix.
I got Bakoli.
Jared, you're giving away some swag out there to this fan base. Think you're going to make some new friends tomorrow night?
Definitely. I think I'm going to make a lot of new friends, everything.
You've been asking for this kind of opponent that'll stand there and fight for you for months now. What kind of fight are you expecting? How are you feeling going into this?
I'm expecting an amazing fight, amazing performance for myself and for the fans. So I'm just expecting to go out there and show what I'm made of.
You got a new man in your corner in Sugar Hill Stewart. What has he been able to add to your game during this camp?
You'll see Saturday night.
Good luck, Jared.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So let's go look at the rankings and see where Jared Miller is. By the way, the weigh-in for Andrew Ruiz and Big Baby Miller is coming up next. So let's go see what Gerald Anderson is and Bakoli are on the rankings. Where's my rankings at? Jared Anderson, number 6 by the WBC. WBA, do I see him? Number 13 by the WBA. Okay, so he's a fringe contender. He's not there yet. He's still got a ways to go. By the way, here's this guy. Big time drug cheat. We can't, listen, it happened. We can't act like it didn't happen. However, I do like this arc that he's on with like rebuilding, himself back up. He's still got some time left to clean it up. But he should be blessed to be back on this stage right now where he's at in his career. But in reality, I just don't think Andrew Ruiz, not only does he have fast hands and he's got power, but he doesn't have stamina or conditioning issues despite his weight. Big Baby Miller, we've seen him slow down. And I'm going to be surprised if he gets caught with something and gets dropped. Andrew Ruiz ain't no joke. Like when he's on his A game. By the way, let's go look at the weights here to see what Andrew Ruiz was his last fight. I forgot. Okay, so Andrew Ruiz was 268 against Luz. Okay, yeah, we're going to look at this. This guy weight just balloons up and down. But he never gasses out. He never gasses out. Let's see, they still playing this music? I'm gonna turn it back up, see what's going on here.
Israil Miller. $305.6 for Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
I mean, Jarrell hasn't been 305 since 2018 when he fought Johan Duhaupas.
Champion Andy Ruiz. $274.4 for Andy the Destroyer Ruiz.
we go. Battle of the big boys. Look, Jarrell Miller has lost weight. He was 333 pounds for his last fight against Daniel Dubois. He did say Sergio would come under the 300-pound mark, not quite 305 pounds, but he has dropped some weight.
Hey, listen, 305 looks good on him, and Andy Ruiz looks good too. Look, I got ridiculed when I said these guys were going to look good in great shape because I seen them. Now that I see them without a shirt weighing in, they look really good. I mean,
no, stop it. It's not really good.
What are you talking about? Compared
it's not really
to
good.
340?
Andy Ruiz last time was 268. He's now 278.
You're telling me
he's put on 10 pounds.
He looked way flabbier than in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, to be very honest, my personal opinion is, they both look, more, how can I say, not as flabby, like more muscular, if that makes sense. For example, let's go look. Andy Ruiz, 35 and 22 KOs, spent a lot of time, over there with PBC, just wasted, messed up some real momentum. He was having some marital issues. But when he fought Luis Ortiz, that was 2 years ago. He was 268. Areola, he was in phenomenal shape. That was also a pay-per-view. My goodness, they were really taking the piss, PBC. He was 256. Joshua, 283. But if you look, it's the second highest he's ever been? Nah, he came in at 300. Okay, but let's not count when he first. Oh, well, let's listen and hold on to Big Baby Miller here.
When I step in the ring, I'm gonna roast your ass. Like I said, a happy, in shape Big Baby is a dangerous Big Baby. Nobody beats me in shape. Not even a sparring session. I whoop everybody ass.
Yeah, you said your last fight you were not happy at all with your performance. What's going to be different between your fight with Dubois and your fight here with Ruiz?
Man, I'm throwing a million punches around. I'm gonna wear his ass out, and we gonna knock him out. I mean, listen, he's been dropped plenty of times in fights. I know what I can do when I'm in shape. I'm in shape. I'm in shape. I'm talking about no cheeseburger for 3 months. No lovey-dovey for 3 months? Oh, yeah, I'm fucking him up.
No lovey-dovey or cheeseburgers for 3 months. He's as serious as can be. Give it up for Big Baby Jarrell Miller, everybody.
I remember I had sex for
2
6
years out
months
of the ring,
before I
but you
thought I was
still have a
going to
lot of
die.
fans here in Southern California. What kind of show are you hoping to put on for them tomorrow night?
Man, the main thing, Dad, I want to win, man. I want to win, especially for my fans, toda la raza que me anda apoyando aquí.
Yeah.
Eso es lo que vamos a hacer. Vamos a ganar.
274 pounds, a little heavier than I think you thought you wanted to come in this week. How are you feeling physically going into this fight?
I feel really good, man. We knew that he was going to be over 300 pounds. I didn't want to lose too much weight, so I thought we did a perfect plan. We did a perfect strategy, so I feel good. I'm ready to win. I'm ready to fight. We're ready to go to war, man.
It was 5 years ago you pulled off one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight boxing history. I think a lot of people are wondering, is that Andy Ruiz still inside you? What would you say to that?
Of course it is, man. I had everything in my palms and it went away, so I want them back. So what do I have to do? I got to win this fight. That's why it's really important. I know what it feels to be a champion, and I know how it feels not to be a champion. And guess what? I want to be a damn champion again. And that's what we're going to do.
Good luck, Andy.
Thank you.
I wonder who has more to lose. I know Big Baby Miller, he's already on that mid-carder level right now, but Andy Ruiz, he's wasted a lot of time, man. A lot of time. And let me see if any of these guys are ranked. Andy Ruiz, where you at? Both of these fighters are not even ranked, but Andy Ruiz has been off for damn near 2 years. What is it, 23 months? And Big Baby Miller, well, you know, he still got that scandal with the drug testing. Now, this fight right here, I'm looking forward to. He put that loudmouth, know-it-all Chris Colbert to sleep. Kept telling his corner, he got it, why you so hype, and then gets knocked fudge out. You got Isaac Cruz, who's becoming a superstar. Many are saying that a lot of those fans there are because of him. By the way, the event sold out today. my problem with this is Rayo can box. As long as he don't get caught, you know, he has a real solid chance to win this. Isaac Cruz is not invincible. You know, he put up a good fight against Tank Davis, but I'm one of them people that believe that he lost that fight. He lost a close fight to Tank Davis, put on a great performance, but he lost that fight. My personal opinion, of course. Yeah, I'm 6'3", 6'2.5". Oh, let's listen in.
Jose Valenzuela.
But I think the winner of this is, you know, I think it's safe to say the winner of this is definitely going to get Tank Davis. And I'm happier now with Tank versus Isaac Cruz 2 than I was a year ago. I think that Isaac has done enough, especially if he wins this fight, to be able to earn the rematch. Because I think the last time they just kept trying to shoehorn it when it was like, we don't really want to see it. So I think it's marinated long enough. I want to see it.
139.8 for the challenger, Jose El Rayo Valenzuela. Now to the scale.
Turn that down. They say on Twitter he got a Ninja Turtle head.
140 pounds even for the defending world champion, Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
Olmec statue head.
You know, you always wonder how fighters grow fan bases, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I see nothing but all my people there. All my Hispanic people. The Isaac got the black Air Forces on. No, he got on some old bullshits. What are those? I'm not going to say that. You know, that height can be concerning because Isaac's a high volume pressure fighter. If you can keep him away. Remember, people forget he struggled with Giovanni Cabrera. He didn't have it easy there, and then Giovanni Cabrera just recently got knocked out, didn't he? Did I cover that fight? I don't remember. I'm just not a real fan of Isaac's manager. He be making some dodgy moves, Sean Gibbons. At the same time, he take care of his fighters, supposedly. You know, so that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But yeah, this is supposed to be the fight that's really selling the pay-per-view. And of course, the main event is coming up next. So as I was asking earlier in the video, like, is this an $80 fight? I mean, card. I think so. Compared to the shit they've been selling us over the last, like, several years now, listen, $80 for me. Madrimov is not well-known. He's not a known fighter. Oh, let's listen in. You know, relatively untested.
Pitbull Cruz, we know what he's all about. He's going to pressure you. He's going to throw punches. He's going to try and bully you. How do you handle that?
You know, we stay sharp, we stay focused, and we stick to the game plan.
So what is the game plan? How do you beat him?
Make him miss, make him pay.
All right, what's your message to your fans? You got a loud cheering section over there.
Arriba, Mexico!
Arriba, Mexico! All right.
Fair enough. Chris?
All right. My man.
Isaac, first world title defense. You're going to do it in front of a lot of Mexican fans on Saturday. How are you feeling going into this fight?
¿Cómo te sientes? Primera defensa de tu título mundial frente a muchos aficionados mexicanos. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Me siento muy contento de poderlo representar y orgullosamente el día de mañana vamos a salir con la victoria a representar a todo México.
I feel really, really proud to represent them. We're going to try and go all out for victory tomorrow, for them and for the whole of Mexico.
This is a Mexico versus Mexico type of fight. Do you like those types of fights?
Es una pelea México contra México. ¿Te gustan estas peleas, no?
Totalmente, y bueno, vamos a demostrar que nosotros somos el verdadero estilo mexicano.
Yeah, I do really like them as well, and we'll see who is the real sort of champion out of the two Mexicans.
Good luck, Isaac.
Thank you.
Ade, throw it back to you.
One more to go. That one more, you know.
All right, so let's talk about the 140-pound division. I don't really see Isaac Cruz as a natural 140-pounder, by the way. In fact, I see that as his cap. I see he can't. Well, he better not touch 147. I think that's a bridge too far. I think that 140 is his weight cap. I think he can't go any further than that. But let's talk about it. We don't know what Devin Haney's doing. He said he's taking a year off. Has he been made champion in recess yet? I got to catch up on that. I won't be surprised if we see Sandor Martin versus, Gary Antoine Russell for the, wait a minute. Let me check something real quick. My bad. I've been away for so long. I got to tap back in. Yeah, I covered this fight. All right. So I'm guessing we're going to see Alberto. Okay, so Alberto Puello won the interim. I covered this fight. See, I was about to say some bullshit and I forgot I covered this fight. So I'm guessing we're going to see Sandor Martin versus Alberto. That's what's going on for the WBC? And Haney's the champion in recess, if not yet. Isaac Cruz mandatory is that old man Ismael Barroso who put O'Hara Davies down and should have got the win over Rolly. So he's the mandatory. Liam Parrow beat up Sabril Matias. Liam Parrow and Sky Nicholson are going to be sharing a card in Australia coming up. I talked to Eddie Hearn about that. By the way, I was at the Boots fight. I was there. And you have Teofimo flirting with 147 to fight the low-hanging fruit in Brian Norman. That's who Teofimo wants to fight, and don't be surprised if they make it. But let's stay at 140. So as you can see, 140 is kind of all over the place. It's kind of all over the place. So when you look at it, Isaac Cruz is technically, now that Devin Haney will probably be going up to 147, Sabril Matias no longer the boogeyman, Teofimo going up to 147. Technically, you can say it's now Isaac Cruz division. And maybe this can be where Tank enters, like for a full belt finally. Maybe he goes to 140, fights Isaac Cruz up there for that belt, get a legitimate title. But that'd be kind of a politically damaging move for Tank, because if he moved up to 140 after everybody else then moved up, then it's going to be a bad look. But when you look at it, for example, you don't see Isaac Cruz taking on Devin Haney. I don't think so. I don't see Isaac Cruz taking on. We could see Isaac Cruz versus Liam Parrow, but Eddie Hearn wants Liam Parrow to have a homecoming first. So we're talking about, and that's going to be in November or so. So we're talking about Isaac Cruz next fight if he beats Rayo. His next fight. Who does he fight at 140? It would have to be his mandatory, unless they pay him step aside, Ismael Barroso. Or does he fight, let's say, the winner of Sandor Martin, Alberto Puello, for that WBC title? But that's kind of like politically, like what's going on there. Remember, Richardson Hitchens is the mandatory for Liam Parrow, so Liam Parrow can have his homecoming defense, then fight Richardson Hitchens. He's going to have to. And then if you have, of course, you have Prograis taking on Jack Catterall. So when you look at it, it may be profitable for Isaac Cruz to fight Tank Davis. And Tank Davis currently, right now, doesn't have a solid opponent he can fight. The Shakur Stevenson fight, I'm doubtful that'll happen. If you don't know, Loma's not up. He's not mentally right now fit to be fighting. According to his manager, basically, he's not ready yet. He wants to take the year off. And as I said earlier in the video, I think that Devin Haney got the soul of Lomachenko. Remember, he was crying at the end of the broadcast. He had promised his son he was going to bring home the belts. So I think when he fought Kambosos and beat him up, is that he was trying to see if he still got it. But when you listen to his post-fight interview and you were watching, the post-fight press conference, it don't sound like Lomachenko was here with us in boxing anymore. It sounds like he got one foot out the door. So he was in negotiations to fight Tank, but then it's like, he want to take off till next year. So he clearly going through some things. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is Tank Davis is running out of profitable in-house fights under his banner. I mean, yeah, you got the Williams to pay to fight out there, but does that really move the needle? And will Golden Boy and the Zone come together for that? I mean, I don't know. The Shakur Stevenson fight, that'll satisfy a lot of hardcore fans, but I don't see that fight happening. So I think we can possibly see Tank Davis versus Isaac Cruz before the end of the year. That's what I think. So anyway, they're about to get to the weigh-in. By the way, this fight's taking place in the BMO Stadium. It's been a glamorous fight week. You know, they've been in some prime locations, you know, real solid, good build up. But this fight it just seems like this card's missing like the it factor. I don't know. No, it is popular among us Hispanics, you know, but just global real appeal, I just don't see it. But great card though, because if you think about it, you know, for the hardcores, it's a really good fight. You know, Crawford versus Madrimov. I really like it, and we're going to talk about it after the weigh-in. They're about to weigh in now, because it's a type of style that Crawford hasn't really seen before, and in a new division. Remember, he started at 135, 154 now, and he wants to try to fight Canelo at 168. So let's listen in.
Al Sheikh. And now, two undefeated fighters will be facing each other tomorrow night. It's a night of history for boxing. We all remember anything can happen in that ring. Ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Also on the line, the WBO interim title, the WBC #1 ranking, building a pathway to something we...
All right, well, I got to mute anyway because of the music. But yes, I'm going to be, we're going to break this fight down because, as I said, you know, there's a plan for Crawford, and it's looking like the Saudis are buying up one boxing division at a time. They already got the WBA and the WBC in their pocket. I'm not sure about the WBO, the IBF yet. They got Top Rank in their pocket. They're now broadcasting their fights on Amazon Prime, which makes me wonder what's the exclusivity of the Prime deal. Like, how with PBC, how does that work? You think I'm joking? Here, I'll show you. We'll get back to the weigh-in. Where's it at? Where's it at? Here it is. You can buy it through Prime. You can buy it everywhere. You can buy it through ESPN everywhere. So Madrimov is a pure boxer, technician, stellar amateur background. The Eastern European fighter that we always hear about. You know, Crawford hasn't seen something like this since, I guess you want to say, Postol. But I think Madrimov is better than Postol. But see, Madrimov is untested. You know, there's nobody on his resume of real note. You know, it's a boxing match. And it's a new division for Crawford. Despite that, you know, it's been well known for years, the rumors of Terrence Crawford just being just strong. Like a physically strong fighter. But a special fighter, indeed. But also, let's be honest, he hasn't really taken any damage. Yes, he's taken big shots in his fights. But he's getting up there in age. Crawford's what, going to be 37 next month or 38? Let me check real quick. He's getting up there. He's 36. He'll be 37 September the 26th. He's getting up there. And in a new division. By the way, do you guys think he can beat Canelo? I think he can. But how is he going to take one of the Canelo shots? But we're going to talk about that after the weigh-in. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We're going to be here tomorrow night covering all the main fights on the card. And we're going to be here at the end of the fight with highlights, post-fight show,
Kiva, Uzbekistan. Official weight 154 pounds for the reigning and defending world champion, Israil, the Dream, Madrimov. Now stepping onto the scales, the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, going for his 4th division championship. He is Terrence Bud Crawford.
Oh man, I was supposed to mute that.
53.4.
Oh, by the way, they have Eminem doing a musical performance. It's like, yeah, I ain't trying to see that shit. Man's like 50-something now. Don't move the needle no more. But hey, who am I? So anyway, let's talk about this fight. Here is the plan. Okay, if you haven't heard, Errol Spence and Fundora was supposed to be fighting in October or November. Errol Spence and Fundora's not happening. Errol Spence is supposedly on his way out the door, like very close to retirement. Terrence Crawford beat the shit out of him, took his soul. Al Heyman never wanted to fight for Spence, but Spence, you know, you got to give him credit. He made it happen. He made it happen. But Al Heyman knew something was protecting Spence, and Spence got beat up, and now it looks like Spence is done. So Fundora's in a spot to where his management did Tim Tszyu dirty. I think there's bad blood there. Haven't been able to confirm it, but PBC and Tim Tszyu seem to kind of be on the outs. And also, it's been a lot of confusion, but trust me, I do believe I know. Tim Tszyu is not an Al Heyman fighter. He had a deal with the PBC, a broadcast deal, and it was already bad blood that he didn't get Charlo, and Charlo went on to fight Canelo. So they tried to say, I will give you Thurman to try to rectify the situation. Thurman gets injured, and then they try to rob Tszyu out of his rematch.
You're 24 hours away from the biggest fight of your life. How do you feel?
What's up, Billy? Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming. Inshallah, Saturday night will be a great fight. Don't miss.
I thought it was interesting. Yesterday we spoke to you and asked you what your game plan was, and you basically said you're going to figure it out in the ring depending on what Terrence does. Why is that how you're approaching this fight?
Yeah. I have the game plan because inside the ring we are making I do, inshallah. And я хочу, чтобы показать всем, что я умею, и доказать, что я лучше на этом весе.
My goal is to showcase my skills inside that ring and show that I'm the best in this division.
All right, I'll give you the final word here. What's your prediction for tomorrow night? What are we going to see? And what's your message to your fans around the world?
It's going to be a great fight. Muxlislar, qo'llab-quvvatlaylar, inshaalloh tarix ochamiz.
God bless. It's going to be a great fight, and we're going to get that victory.
All right, let's give it up for the super welterweight champion of the world, Israil, the Dream, Madrimov.
All right, Bud, the talk is finally over. You're going to get back in the ring for the first time in a year. What's the feeling like?
Man, I can't wait. I'm focused. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm ready to go out here and put on another great performance in front of all my fans and supporters and the whole world to show them that I'm the best fighter in the world.
You talked about how tough it was for you to get down to 147. How do those extra 7 pounds feel on you?
Man, it felt great, but it still wasn't easy. But we ready.
You're the best in the world at 135, at 140, at 147. Do you believe you could be the best in the world at 54?
I'm already the best in the world at 54 when I stepped in the division.
Oh.
You got a guy in front of you on Saturday that checks a lot of boxes, decorated amateur, in his prime, world champion, says this is his weight class. What kind of a fight are you expecting?
Listen, how many gold medalists, silver medalists, Olympians that I didn't beat? A lot of them got a decorated amateur pedigree and background, and they all left the same way. And I'm looking forward to him leaving the same way again this Saturday.
Good luck, bud.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Is this a step too far for Bud Crawford? I mean, when you look at his 147-pound run, the good fights were kept away from him for so long that when he did get them, for example, let's go look at it. Let's go look at his resume. And hopefully I can make this make sense for you. Oh, by the way, take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. We're going to be here tomorrow covering this card. The main event may be starting around this time, 24 hours from now. It's 11:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday, August the 2nd. Eastern Standard Time, and tomorrow, the 3rd, they could be in the ring. But one thing I've noticed about these Saudi Arabian cards, these Riyadh season cards, they be long. I remember Wilder, the card that was headlined by Joshua Wallin and Wilder Parker, that was like 9 hours. Like, I was completely unhinged by the end of the card. Sitting here all day, I was sitting here from like 12. It was like 10:30 a.m. to like 7-something p.m. It was disgraceful. So hopefully this card is not going to be forever. I mean, after all, there's only how many fights on this card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the main card. The pay-per-view portion is these fights. I believe it's going to open up the pay-per-view with Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kalajdzic. Jared Anderson, Martin Bacoli, Andy Ruiz, Gerald Miller, Isaac Cruz, Jose Rayo Venezuela, and then the main event, Crawford versus Madrimov, and then the Steve Nelson, Marcos Rodriguez, and Zaid, I don't want to butcher his name, versus this fight right here. That's going to be on the prelims. So when we look at the resume of Terrence Crawford here, okay, he wasn't allowed access to the top 140-pound or 147-pound guys because PBC was keeping their guys on their island, and both organizations didn't feel that Crawford, really sold. Even Bob Burnham said it himself that he was losing money on him. Crawford, according to a lawsuit, was making something like $4 million a fight. Give or take, don't quote me there. Not fighting on pay-per-view, guaranteed money. So PBC had the guys at the Danny Garcias, even Lamont Petersons. When they gave him John Molina was so long in the tooth. For example, when you look at it, let's go look at the run at 147. Okay, he got Jeff Horn. Remember, they kept telling him, in order to get the fight, you got to get a belt. He beat Jeff Horn. Jose Benavidez Jr., bum leg. No secret. Amir Khan. Amir Khan had been knocked out by everybody by that time. See those 4 losses there? All 4 by KO. He was cooked. Aguilas Kavalauskas wasn't mandatory. Kell Brook was cooked. Looked straight ghoulish at the weigh-in. Had no business at 147. Sean Porter was cooked. David Evernesi was BLK Prime, and then he put a boot in Errol Spence's ass when he finally got a chance. So Errol Spence was cleaning up his side of the street, as he called it. And all the fights that Crawford couldn't get, like even when you go down to like Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter Prime, Danny Garcia Prime, Alvarez Prime somewhat, Dennis Ugas, he couldn't get those fights. So So when you look at Madrimov, yeah, okay, there's nothing there. 10-0-1 with 7 KOs, 29 years old. Magomed Kurbanov knocked him out. Remember, he went life and death with Liam Smith. And then there's not really nothing there. The Soro fight was stopped by a cut, but he stopped him in the first fight. I forgot how this fight went. Somebody tell me, wasn't there controversy with this first Soro fight? But as you can see, it's nothing there. But Crawford's logic is, here, let me pull the rankings over here. Let me tell you what his plan is. Here's Crawford's plan. Okay. Fundora has Tim Tszew's WBO belt. Fundora is also the WBC full champion. Jamel Charlo is the champion in recess. So Jamel Charlo saying that he's back, by the way, fighting at 154 pounds. So you got to follow me here. Things might get it a little confusing. We could see Jamel Charlo taking on Sebastian Fundora in the fall. That's a big move because PBC wants to keep their hands on that WBC belt. So we could see Charlo versus Fundora in the fall, but then you have Sergey Bahanchak, who's taking on Virgil Ortiz Jr. in next month for the WBC interim title. So the WBC is already tied up. Israil Madrimov has the WBA. Fundora has to fight the winner of Madrimov Crawford this fall, or he has to drop that title. So you see what I'm saying? So Sebastian Fundora has saying he's been wanting to fight Terence Crawford. His team doesn't want him to. So if Crawford beats Madrimov, let's say if Crawford does win, he'll have the WBO and the WBA title at 154. Bakhram Murtazaliev has the IBF. Don't be surprised if we see Erickson Lubin take on Bakhram Murtazaliev. Erickson Lubin just turned down the fight against Tim Tszyu to be the mandatory, but I think that Lubin is going to leapfrog that. And then we're waiting to see who Tim Tszyu is going to fight, for the mandatory spot. Could be the winner of Josh Kelly. I forgot who he's fighting next. So it's a bit of a lot of political mumbo jumbo going on up here at the top of the 154-pound division, especially when it comes to Sebastian Fundora. It's not him, it's his team. So, as I said, do not be surprised if you see Fundora versus Jamel Charlo this fall. So with that being said, Canelo and Edgar Berlanga have a press tour coming up. Boots can move up to fight Murtazaliev, but Boots already said he's going after the 147-pound division. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow night because I'm short on time here and I want to make sure I stay on schedule. I got a long day tomorrow. But I did see a press release that Canelo and Berlanga are having their press tour next week, and I got to be honest, I'm just disappointed in Canelo, man. Because he's been having a hard-on for Edgar Berlanga for like 2 years now. What does he see in Edgar Berlanga that make him want to fight him so much? 22-0, 17 KOs, 27 years old. Once he stepped up in competition that one time, because remember, he was knocking everybody out. Damon Nicholson, I interviewed him in his pop years and years and years ago. But once he stepped up, and he's never been the same. And then remember, he's a cannibal. Who did he bite again in Angulo? He bit him. And now Canelo's trying to force this fight down our throat. By the way, compete with the UFC. It's going to flop. But also the backlash, because it's like, what has Edgar Berlanga done to deserve the fight against Canelo Alvarez? He's just fighting whoever he wants to fight at this point. And can you really blame Canelo, really? But it's like, still, don't try to, make it seem like it's a good opponent at this point in time. I'm just not with it. When you look at John Ryder, okay, whatever. Wasn't John Ryder a mandatory? I forgot. Jamel Charlo, that was an intriguing fight on paper, but nonetheless, it was a small fight of 154-pounder moving up. And he tried to cherry pick Jamal Charlo coming off of mental health issues and drunkenness. Jaime Munguia, okay, I have no excuses for that fight. I like that fight. But But then Berlanga. So if you notice, his last, like even the Golovkin fight was way too late. So he been playing some real games the last few years. I'm not knocking it, but it's like, okay, Canelo, I kind of see what you're doing. All these fighters that he's fought have been weaker in some way, shape, or form. Golovkin, older. Like, it just, a lot of people going in the fight, yeah, Canelo's going to win. John Ryder retired after this fight. Jamel Charlo moving up 2 division. Jaime Munguia, people were saying was still green. And then Berlanga? And if he fights Crawford and loses, that's why I think you don't want to fight Crawford, because he does have so much to lose. If he wins, they'll be like, you beat up a smaller fighter, you don't get no stripes. If he loses to Crawford, though, that's it for him, because you lost to a smaller fighter. Now, me personally, I feel like Canelo is a 160-pounder masquerading at 168, kind of like Miguel Cotto run at 160 was. I don't think that Canelo's a real 168-pounder. I believe he's a 168 guy. 160 guy that comes in weighs in at 168 because he don't have to cut down too much. That's what I think. Which is why he don't want no parts of David Benavidez or David Morrell, the type of super middleweights that can compete at cruiserweight and possibly heavyweight one day. So you know how I said, like Isaac Cruz earlier in the video, 140 is the max division. I don't think he can do well at 147, to where a guy like Devin Haney, who started at 135, can maybe touch 160 one day. I feel that 160 is the max, the cap for Canelo, and he wants to fight guys like around there or with some type of handicap or whatever the case may be. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, it's kind of noticeable. It's kind of noticeable. But the walls are closing in on Canelo to either retire or fight somebody of note. And when you look at the rankings, where are my rankings at? What did I do with them? What did I do with my rankings? What did I do with them? Hold on. I got a lot of screens here. There we go. So when you look at the rankings at 168, he'll talk all that shit that he wants to fight Bivol again. I don't think he want nothing to do with that. Who is he going to fight? Oh, I forgot to mention, it's going to be Chris Eubank Jr. next in the UK. Boom, there it is. Canelo's going to fight Berlanga, and then he's going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. because now, remember, he don't have a mandatory for the WBC and the WBA. He don't have a mandatory. And wait a minute, Marcus, Berlanga is the mandatory, right? So he's clear for the WBC. He's clear for the WBA. He had to give up his IBF. William Scoll's going to be fighting somebody for that belt. And then look at the WBO. Diego Pacheco, Eric Bazanian, Christopher Umbali. Nice, he's coming up. But Canelo think he's slick. Ain't nothing there. He wants to keep, ain't nothing there. Exactly, Joe. He is goofing around at 168. He want to keep his belts, but don't want to fight nobody. He didn't chase David Morrell and David Benavidez out the division because he know the WBA or the WBC would dare not order it to happen. The WBO, look at the top 5. Look at the top 5 of the WBO. He will spank all of them. So I think it's going to be Chris Eubank Jr. If he beats Berlanga, which he should, he's going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. in the UK. And then he's going to try to retire. That's what I see. But let me get up out of here. We're going to be here tomorrow after the fight. I'm going to be covering Canelo. I'm going to be covering Crawford versus Madrimov. I'm going to have a post-fight video for all of these fights. You're going to see a post-fight video for Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran, Isaac Cruz versus Rayo Venezuela, a video for Andy Ruiz, Gerald Miller, Jared Anderson, Martin Piccoli, David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kolajek, and Israil Madrimov versus Terrence Crawford. Then we'll be here for a post-fight show. It's a $79.99 pay-per-view. You can buy it through your cable subscriber. You can buy it through the Dish. You can buy it through the Zone. You can buy through Amazon Prime and pay-per-view here in the States. Like ESPN, everyone's broadcasting this fight. I talked about it earlier how it's not really quiet anymore, but the Saudis are taking over boxing. You know, they got their hands in the WBC, they got their hands in the WBA, they got their hands in Top Rank. They got PBC fighters fighting on their cards. They got their hands in Frank Warren and in Matchroom Promotions, not hands in them physically. You know, watch it, it's happening. They already own the heavyweight division. I mean, look, they have to have the whole heavyweight division. They're after 154. They got the light heavyweight division. They got the cruiserweight division. They're literally taking over boxing. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and TstreeT Controversy with 5v3.